Welcome everybody to the Week in Review, episode 185. This is where we go over Raw and SmackDown on a WWE Action setup. We're going to start off with Monday Night Raw. This is a Halloween edition of Monday Night Raw. It's a decent show. A lot freaking happened on this show, so let's jump right in. Starting over here was our opening match of the night. It was Bianca Belair going one-on-one with the new and improved Nikki Cross. As far as the match goes, match was pretty decent, but I love to see Nikki Cross back in her crazy character. I love the crazy Nikki Cross. When she was in Sanity, her theme song is sort of like a modified Sanity theme song, which I thought was really cool. She came out, classic Nikki Cross, decent match against Bianca Belair up until Damage Control. Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai ended up coming out. They tried posing a factor in Bianca Belair's loss, but then it didn't work out to their advantage because Bianca Belair was still able to hit the KOD on Nikki Cross to pick up the victory over Nikki Cross, which I thought was pretty shocking. But then, of course, Damage Control, they get in the ring, they start attacking Bianca Belair, start taking her out, and then here comes Asuka and Alexa Bliss. Asuka and Alexa Bliss are back from injury. They come out, they even the odds between Damage Control and Bianca Belair, and then they ask for a match later in the night for the Women's Tag Team Championships. They want a match, and they got it in the main event. I will still talk about that, but as far as this opening match goes between Nikki and Bianca, I like seeing Nikki crazy again, and it was pretty decent. I'm not going to lie. Moving over here, was supposed to be a virtual interview between Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar backstage. Bobby Lashley showed up for the interview, but Brock Lesnar showed up in the arena. His music hits, and Bobby's like, wait a minute. Is his music hitting outside in the arena? So he meets him out in the arena because Brock Lesnar's like, I don't want to talk, I want to fight. So they start brawling up by the entrance stage as Bobby Lashley comes out. Triple H comes out with a bunch of people from the locker room, security, officials, and he breaks up the fight and he threatens Lashley and Brock if they touch again, then the match is off at the Crown Jewel. This was pretty decent, very similar to what we saw over the past couple weeks. Just very, very similar, but it's still not bad. Moving over here, it was Seth Rollins, the United States Champion, going up against Theory one-on-one. This is easily match of the night. I loved it. Seth Rollins' hair is dyed blonde again. Not half of his face like this figure here, but almost all of his hair, but more down to the ends of his hair. It was pretty cool. I do like it. He was United States Champion, of course, going up against Theory, who is Mr. Money in the Bank. This was a pretty good one-on-one match. I pleasantly enjoyed it. And in the end, after some amazing back-and-forth action, Seth Rollins was able to hit the curb stomp on Austin Theory and pick up a clean victory, man. You know what I'm saying? This is really good. I don't think this hurt Theory at all. It just, gained more confidence for Seth Rollins as United States Champion. Moving over here, Roman Reigns was on Monday Night Raw. Shocking, I know. He wasn't with the Bloodline, Sami Zayn or the Usos. He was or Solo Sikoa. He was just with Paul Heyman, which I thought was fine. Yeah, it did feel like there was a missing piece to the puzzle, though, because the Bloodline and Sami, when they're out there, it really completes the puzzle. They got interrupted by The Miz as they were bashing Logan Paul, and then Miz comes out with an offer saying, you guys help me take out Dexter Loomis, and I'll tell you different strategies for the weaknesses of Logan Paul. And Roman's like, you think I'm worried about Logan Paul? You think he's going to knock me out? Roman got pissed off, and he Superman punched The Miz, which I thought was pretty decent, because, of course, Miz has a match later in the night against Mustafa Ali, injuring the jaw of The Miz, going into that match, giving us something to think about through the entire show. That was pretty decent. Moving over here, it was Carl Anderson. Carl Anderson going up against Damian Priest one-on-one. This match was okay. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Judgment Day. You guys know that. Especially, I don't like Judgment Day, okay? But this was pretty shocking. Carl Anderson was able to do a backslide pinning maneuver on Damian Priest and pin Damian Priest, but literally right when he pinned him, 1, 2, 3, here comes Finn Balor, here comes Dominic, here comes Rhea Ripley. It's just an all-out brawl in the center of the ring, and then Rhea Ripley is ultimately the factor once again in the downfall of the OC. Hits the low blow on Luke Gallows, takes him out of the equation, and then they just pick him off as they go. Take out Styles, take out Anderson, and then Judgment Day sort of just reigns supreme, even though Carl Anderson still picked up the victory over Damian Priest. They still have to make Judgment Day look good going into Crown Jewel, so the OC can beat Judgment Day at the Crown Jewel. Predictions coming. No, predictions already on the channel, by the way. Check out the prediction video. It's on the freaking channel. Jumping over here, it was JBL and Baron Corbin. No match this week for Baron Corbin, but they did come out basically just bashing Texas. Typical heel maneuver by JBL. Introduces Baron Corbin, and then they continue to talk about how Corbin's going to do great things, how he's won matches over Ziggler and Gargano, and then they get interrupted again by R-Truth. R-Truth comes out And he just, he's dressed as like a cowboy for Texas, and they say he looks ridiculous. And then Corbin kind of just hits an end of days on him after an exchange of words. I thought this was kind of dumb. I would have preferred a match with Baron Corbin, like against R-Truth, to give Corbin another win on Monday Night Raw. I think that would have been the smarter way to go. Moving over here, it was a trick-or-street fight between Otis and Riddle. This was a pretty fun trick-or-street fight. I love when they do these. Obviously, this episode of Raw was on Halloween night. So they always surround the ring with pumpkins, candy corn kendo sticks, and this is just a really fun match. I really enjoyed it. Riddle was dressed as Ezekiel, and Otis and Gable were dressed as Chip and Dale, which I'm not too familiar with those characters, but they were dressed as them. Chad Gable ended up going through a table in the end by Elias, because Elias was on ringside for Riddle, and then Riddle inside of the ring was able to hit an RKO on the Jack-O-Lantern Otis, because they put a pumpkin on the head of Otis, and then they did the RKO, which I thought was pretty hysterical. But I didn't there was a commercial in the middle of this match, and the commercial literally took away so much from it, because we came back from commercial, there was a bunch of candy everywhere, a bunch of destruction in the ring, and I'm like, what the heck happened? We can't see what happened because there was a commercial. I thought that was so stupid. But as far as the trick-or-street fight in a whole, it wasn't half bad. I always enjoy these fun, goofy matches. Thought it wasn't bad. Moving over here is Mustafa Ali going one-on-one with The Miz, and you got to remember, Miz did suffer that Superman punch later in the show from Roman Reigns. This was a pretty decent one-on-one match, not my favorite match of the night. Dexter Loomis did get involved. Near the announce table, he grabbed The Miz over the barricade again, and then he started chasing The Miz, but then security chased Dexter Loomis out of the arena. They chased him out, and then it was just left with Mustafa Ali and The Miz in the ring, and Ali was able to hit the 450 off the top rope and beat The Miz. So Dexter Loomis yet again terrorizing The Miz into another loss here on Raw, but this time to Mustafa Ali. And then right after this, we did have the truth revealed by Gargano. Gargano revealed his truth and his allegations against Miz and Dexter Loomis, saying that Miz has been paying Dexter Loomis to attack him in the beginning to gain publicity for the Miz character, and then he's basically been paying Dexter Loomis, and he stopped paying him, and Dexter Loomis legitimately got pissed off that he stopped paying him because he doesn't really have a job with WWE, so he started attacking him for real since he stopped paying him, and Gargano has a great point, and it's 100% right. I loved this part of the show. I thought it was so awesome and realistic. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, definitely check out the video on WWE's YouTube channel. They did a great play-by-play video of the story between Dexter and Miz, and Gargano explained it perfectly. I loved it. And then moving to our main event of the show, it was Asuka and Alexa Bliss going up against Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Damage Control. Of course, we had Bayley on ringside, Bianca on ringside. They did brawl out near the announcers' tables. They got on top of a shipping crate, and then Bayley did a Bayley to belly to Bianca Belair, but basically taking herself out of the equation in the moment of the Bayley to belly. And then in the ring, after that sort of distraction for Damage Control, Alexa Bliss was able to hit a Twisted Bliss off the top rope and pick up the victory for her and Asuka, making them new women's tag team champions. This shocked the hell out of me. I'm not going to lie. I was not expecting Alexa and Asuka to win these women's tag team championships. I thought for sure they were going to keep it on Kai and Sky, but they didn't. They put the women's tag titles on Asuka and Alexa Bliss. I love it, but they were on a roll. Kai and Sky were on a roll as women's champions. Was this the right decision to take the belts off of them? In my opinion, yes, because I like Alexa and Asuka, but I don't know what this is going to do to Damage Control, because by the looks of it, Bayley is going to be losing to Bianca at Crown Jewel, so Damage Control is just going to be in deep crap, if you know what I mean, because they're just losing title after title match, you know what I'm saying? But yes, guys, this has been Monday Night Raw in a WWE action figure setup style. In the end, I'm probably going to give Monday Night Raw a solid 3 out of 5. There was so much that happened on this show. Literally so much in a 3-hour span. It was absolutely insane. 3 out of 5 from me. Let me know your ratings for Raw down in the comments down below, and let's jump into SmackDown. Jumping into Friday Night SmackDown, the SmackDown that I believe was pre-recorded, but that's totally fine. It was still a not half bad show. I found it kind of funny throughout this show. They did mention like, oh, Omos is already down in Saudi Arabia when Braun Strowman's on the show, and Braun Strowman is also already down in Saudi Arabia. I just found that kind of funny. Different things like that. But of course, it's pre-recorded. They tried their best. I thought it wasn't a bad show. We're going to talk about the entire thing, so let's do it right now. Starting over here was our opening match of the night. It was Liv Morgan going one-on-one with Sonya Deville to finally squash the beef between the two. I believe this is going to be the final match between the two, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited for this to be over. It was a solid little 3-week rivalry that they've had. I'm totally fine with that, and it hasn't been bad. Liv Morgan versus Sonya Deville here in a no DQ match to top off the rivalry, and it wasn't bad. Liv Morgan had a pretty unique maneuver through a table to the outside when Sonya Deville had a sleeper hold locked in on her. I thought that was pretty clever. And then we also saw Liv Morgan do the Oblivion on the steel chairs, which I thought was a really cool way to end the match. Overall, not a bad match in the end. Liv Morgan was able to pick up the victory. Like I said, it wasn't too bad. Definitely a solid opener to get that crowd hyped up. Moving over here was a Ricochet going one-on-one with LA Knight. Personally, I wasn't the biggest fan of this match. I think it could have been way better, but they were focusing more on LA Knight's heel character than the actual match itself. Before the match, LA Knight was actually bashing the announcer, Samantha, which I believe is Ricochet's girlfriend in real life. So it was kind of perfect that he was facing him in the match, because Ricochet attacks him after he starts insulting her announcing skills. But it didn't really matter in the end, because LA Knight was able to pin Ricochet, sort of like a roll-up combination, grabbing the tights and the ropes. So he cheated 2 times, basically, to win the match by holding the ropes and the tights. I found this match kind of lame, and I didn't really like the ending either. Moving over here, we had Bray Wyatt backstage, and he was cutting his little promo that he's been doing over the past couple weeks, which they don't get old. Normally I'd say, oh, this is getting old, but I love these promos. He was cutting his promo backstage, and we hear a little noise. Some production guy with a package interrupts in the background, and then Bray Wyatt's like, are you serious, man? Are you serious right now? And he goes off on this freaking production guy that was just walking in the background. He's like, apologize to me now. And he's like, I'm sorry, Bray. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. They're just really showing how psychotic and crazy Bray Wyatt is. I thought this was very unique and very cool. I did enjoy it. Moving over here with the Usos, come out to the ring talking about how they're going to take out the Brawling Brutes at the Crown Jewel and become the new longest reigning World Tag Team Champions over the New Day. The New Day, of course, have a record of 483 days. I remember that day amount only because there was a replica championship that they dedicated to the New Day for that record that they put on WWE Shop, and it was $483. The amount of dollars and days were even there for the price. I thought it was pretty crazy, but that's how I remember that. But yeah, they want to beat that 483-day streak. They get interrupted by the New Day, who are like, after you guys are done with the Brutes, whoever comes out of that match victorious, we want next, which are more than likely going to be the Usos, and they could, defend the streak. As the New Day and the Usos are going back and forth with words, Brawling Brutes attack from behind, and it's 4-on-2, and it was very interesting seeing the tables turned, seeing a different group in charge of the odds instead of the Bloodline. But then, of course, they even the odds once Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa came out to help out the Usos and even the odds against the Brawling Brutes and the New Day, who were beating up on the Usos. They ended up taking out the Brutes and focusing mainly on the Brutes, because that's the match we're going to be getting at Saudi Arabia, the Crown Jewel, which wasn't bad. Moving over here was Shayna Baszler going one-on-one with Natalya. I wasn't the biggest fan of this match. Shayna Baszler locked in the Karafuda clutch to pick up the victory. Like I said, wasn't bad. She kneed her in the face after the match, and then she's teaming with Ronda Rousey, which I've been waiting for them to team for a long time. I'd love to see them become women's tag team champions. I think that'd be so awesome. But yeah, as far as this goes in general, I wasn't really the biggest fan of the match. And then, of course, moving over here, we had Braun Strowman, or should I say MVP. He set out a challenge for Braun Strowman to go up against 5 local guys, and Braun Strowman didn't even get the chance to have a match with them because he ran down the ramp and he ran through all of them like a freight train, and then he got in the ring and then finally gave MVP a piece of his medicine by delivering not 1, not 2, but 3 running power slams to MVP. It felt good to see MVP get taken out. I'm not the biggest fan of MVP, so to see him get taken out by Braun Strowman was absolutely awesome. And then moving to our main event, they've been hyping this match up over the past couple weeks. Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, going one-on-one with Rey Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. This match was pretty decent. I like the insane reversals from Rey Mysterio in this match. He hit a really cool Hurricane Rana reversal off the top rope. Hit a handful of 619s during this match. But yeah, in the end, it didn't really matter. Gunther, he's got a 70-pound advantage over him, and the strength advantage, of course. So Gunther was able to retain his IC Championship over Rey Mysterio. Pretty obvious there. But it would have been pretty cool to see Rey win win. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they got to keep it on Gunther. He's the younger guy. You got to build his character more with this IC championship, and I do believe they're doing a pretty good job. I am starting to like Gunther and Imperium, and their entrance is freaking awesome. Not a bad way to end the show at all. This is definitely a decent go-home show to the Crown Jewel. Obviously, it was pre-recorded. A lot of guys were already in Saudi Arabia when this show was probably recorded. So, you can't do the most stuff, but, you can do some. And they nailed it with what they had. In the end, I'm going to give this show a solid 3. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I am being very nice. It should be a 2, but I'm being very nice because WWE, with the odds stacked again against them with that Saudi Arabia thing and this being a pre-recorded show, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I thought it was a solid show. Let me know what your guys' ratings are down in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bretto live. Out.